I think that mobile-based cryptocurrency is really one of those things that's a catalyst for really to put cryptocurrency in general on a fast track. I mean, one sort of the most exciting thing to talk about, in my opinion, would be just seeing the mobile sphere of the whole sector of mobile phones and how they've been incorporating into their new phones cryptocurrency wallets in mind. You look at the money. That's how you could tell. And the money doesn't lie. I mean, there's going to be all these different wealthy people out there, of course, plenty of them who will shit all over cryptocurrency with one side with one hand, and then with the other, they'll be buying some Bitcoin. And I think that one of the things, I want to start off this video about, talking about why I'm so excited about Electroneum. Definitely does play into the fact that the average person is basically kept out of the loop with Bitcoin because they don't have the capability, know-how, or desire to actually learn how to manage a private key, how to manage a Bitcoin wallet, how to just do these very simple things that just take a little bit of a learning curve, which essentially is actually going to act as one of the greatest inhibitors of people being able to accumulate their cryptocurrency. I mean, you talk about the fact that the millennials are this like cash app generation, but they're actually very stupid in that they're unable to grasp the actual the heart and soul of cryptocurrency, which is having the ownership of the digital asset rather than keeping it on some app where you buy stocks. People who think that Robinhood is sort of the antithesis of cryptocurrency ownership in a nutshell. I mean, people who buy, if you're going to own a Bitcoin, you should, buy it through the proper means. And it is sort of funny to see, and I think that we'll also, when we actually see a lot of cryptocurrency things taking off in the near future and even the long-term future, there'll probably be plenty of people who actually have thought that they've owned something, small amounts of Bitcoin, like 0.1 Bitcoin, but they keep it on one of these cash apps, and they'll probably find it difficult to actually get their Bitcoin out of. If you're having some third party holding your cryptocurrency for you, you might as well just be using a centralized bank. Just keep your money at a Bank of America or something like that. At that point, it's essentially just doing the same, accomplishing the same thing through a roundabout way. I think that it's always better to have your cryptocurrency on like a hard storage or, what have you. People have all their different preferences, but just that theme alone, I think, is a interesting jumping off point to discuss why Electroneum is positing such a game changer. In that they're sort of taking that next step into making cryptocurrency more accessible and essentially using the mobile platform as a jumping off point, essentially, to get more people to really be able to have accessibility in such an easy way. And I think that definitely does play into cryptocurrency's strong suits. Because we are sort of in this funny limbo side right now where we're still sort of seeing a interesting dynamic playing out where the infancy stages of cryptocurrency are sort of giving way into these more institutional mainstream side of the evolution of the space. And that's going to be very interesting to see how it makes things easier, makes things more accessible, and mass adoption's only going to take place when the average everyday Joe it can just simply pull up their phone and have accessibility to when we want to talk about banking of the unbanked, and one of the other themes that I wanted to discuss in this video, which is of course how Electroneum stands to really have a very significant benefit in that they are really able to leverage parts of the developing world in areas where there's plenty of people all around the world who simply just do not have access to banking. And that's really, I think, 1.7 billion people don't have access to bank account. I believe it's far more than that. You just think about how much hoops and hurdles you have to jump through just as far as where you need to live. And that's just the beginning. And you just think about it, the fact that this is such a huge game changer. And I think that as we see more of a digital economy growing, as we see a lot more of these different aspects and components and dynamics, it will certainly put stuff similar to and including Electroneum on a pedestal. And I think currently, as we see Electroneum as sort of the only game in town, respectively, as it currently stands, it is interesting to see how we are witnessing a lot of these different dynamics really getting a lot of headway. And especially right now where we're in a sort of pre-Libra stage, because let's face it, when we finally do see Facebook coming out of the gate swinging, we are going to be witnessing an entirely different cryptocurrency space than we had in the past. Now, of course, the cryptocurrency world is always up for complete and total overhauls and going to get flipped on its ass and all these other things, but it will be interesting to see how mobile crypto is actually going to be one of those things that actually brings cryptocurrency into people's households, gets people talking. And of course, President of Belarus has been recorded talking about mining Bitcoin with the country's excess nuclear power. Eventually, every country will be mining and every country will be holding. I believe we're already there. I just don't think that there's very much publicity surrounding it right now, but that's of course a subject for another time. It is very interesting to see how we are sort of at this point in existing in this limbo. Of course, Bitcoin's currently at the price of just sitting at that 8,200, and people are waiting to see if we're going to plunge further into the crypto abyss or whether we'll actually be able to see that bull market continue. Overall, I'm very much not too distracted by the day-to-day value of any digital asset as it currently stands, because we are so early in the game. It's all about the Satoshis, man. It's all about building up that portfolio. It's all about putting yourself in a good position for the future. And that does include doing research. I spend hours every single day just dedicated to reading white paper on not only different altcoins, but the cryptos that I've already familiarized myself with, because I think that knowledge is power. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I'll stand by that. Overall, it will be interesting to see how Electroneum makes a lot of different impacts on the way that the cryptocurrency space has been evolving over time. And of course, you guys wanted me to talk about Ethereum fight. This article right here, surrounding Prong Power, expands it. So definitely interesting. Keeping close an eye on what's happening with Ethereum right now. I think that it is an interesting precedent that's being set. It will be interesting to see how a lot of these different things play out, including and not limited to how we're going to actually see Tether play out, in the grand scheme of things. And of course, Binance, US on its way, which will of course be interesting. Hats off to everybody who had the foresight to see the writing on the wall with Bitcoin and its instability at that $10,000 region. I suppose we'll see where things can go from here. We'll be doing a live stream covering more in depth on that topic. But of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not your dad. I'm not your financial advisor. So definitely go and do your own research on these topics. Remember, this video is entirely my opinion. That I am excited to see where Electroneum is going to take off. I think that it is spring, and it's coiled up right now. But as we see a lot of these different variables, in particular, many of the ones that I previously mentioned, really coming into their own, it will be interesting to see how, the entrepreneurial spirit of the future will be shaped by, in part, a lot to do with, mass adoption of cryptocurrency and, instant payment technology, yada, yada. So I hope you guys have enjoyed my perspective here. Make sure you subscribe, comment down below, and have a good one.